Let me ask you about that question, that word you just used, though, because I asked Doug about this word too. You said accidental.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're writing along things, do you accidentally come up with these archetypes and this structure, or do you organically come up with it, or innately come up with it? Because one of the hypotheses that we've been working with kind of on this channel as we've been studying this is that these things are innate and psychological, and they're not just something that's learned over repetition, that there's something deeper than that. As a hypothesis, we could be incorrect, but that's the hypothesis that we're working on. So is it accidental when you write these things, or is it innate or organic, or is there a different word that we should be using?
No, I like accidental.
You like accidental?
I think that's real, and that, again, you learn to trust that and sort of count on it, and go. If we just go along, and maybe we'll have a hole, and we don't know. Sometimes the sort of idiotic character, the fool, will be looking out the window and say something, and the hero goes, "That's it. That's it. You didn't know what you were saying, but that's exactly it." So this kind of thing happens. That the thing comes up on TV. You're trying to figure it out over here on paper, and then you watch a news report, and there it is. The very thing you were looking for, better than you could ever have dreamed, is there. But this does involve a certain amount of trust in that accidental process. This is very important.
Oh.
There is a system within the body that tells you when you are in the presence of an answer to a question or a hole in your story. When something comes up, or someone says something, or a note comes, that's true and beautiful, your body tells you it's true and beautiful by giving you a little shiver down the arm, a little shiver down the back. I get something like a rain stick, these hollow tubes.
Yeah, you turn them.
Beads or beans or something, and you turn it, and it sounds like a rain shower. Well, I get something like that down the back of my spine. And it happened in The Lion King. It happened in Aladdin. When I would say stuff, everybody in the room would wiggle, and the animators all took out their pens and they started drawing the scene that I had just mentioned. And you could see it. You could see it in their bodies that they were quivering, because we'd hit on the vein of something true. So you learn to develop that listening to your body, because it'll tell you. You'll be uncomfortable when you don't have it, and then when you get it, boy, I felt that one.
Oh man, that is great. No one ever talks about that. That a eureka reflex.
It is.
And it's the right answer. You're right. That's amazing. It's almost like you're at a stopping point, and there's someone in the back of your head who's like sifting through something like all day for weeks until they get the right one, and it knows. Man, that's great. I don't think I've ever heard anyone talk about that.
Well, I went into this in my book to some extent about the fact that in Asia, in philosophies of the East, you have an idea of the chakra system, which is these different centers up and down the spine that have different jobs to do, to open your heart, to give you power, to make you sexy, to help you survive, to give you spiritual enlightenment, and so forth, to open your throat, to express yourself. And when I was critiquing scripts in the studio and reporting in the meeting on what we had read over the weekend, everybody else was being numerical and saying this will hit this quadrant of the audience, and it'll probably do 50 million in the first weekend. I would just point to these chakra points in my body and say it got me in the throat, it choked me up, and it twisted my guts. Or I felt my heart pounding and something opened up in my head, and I felt something. So, I look for those physiological reactions.
Well, they're reliable.
Do you have any plans to articulate that further in a book or something? Because that's what Sable Phoenix is asking about. Because this does sound absolutely fantastically interesting.
Yeah, sure. It's actually in the latest edition. There is a chapter that deals with the wisdom of the body. That's the title of this kind of umbrella for that idea. But I am working on another book, a new book on the character. Called Writing with the Gods, and it's not done, but this will deal with the different gods and goddesses and what they had to say about character and how it is expressed in the body. And I think it's a high value thing.
That'll be a great book. I heard you actually mention that, I believe, on
there it is.
Courage.
Yes.
Wisdom of the Body. There we go.
Wisdom
That's
of the Body.
this is the 25th anniversary edition. So
Yeah.
there we go.